Hey guys, Thomas from Team Sakuraso here, coming at you guys with Justice Hunters this Monday morning. Now that we've actually seen a little bit of time pass, pre-sales have calmed down, and now we're back to normal prices. I want to go over not only all three archetypes in Justice Hunters, but the other collector cards we have as well, to give you guys the full depth on what you should get, what rarity, etc. Because I know there's a lot of speculation, confusion on this set still. So if you were looking for an in-depth Justice Hunters guide on what to get before it spikes and what not to get and let settle and simmer down, just like some beef, hey, it's your boy Thomas from Team Sakuraso here. There will be a market watch tomorrow on Tuesday as well here, because I know some of you guys want to see other cards than Justice Hunters. But smash that like button, all right? 100 likes on this video would be awesome. Check out the sponsors like Whatnot. Use my link. You can get $15 on your next purchase there. And they have Justice Hunters there. So it's a free $15. Have fun. If you're buying any cards off TCG players, my link down in the description below. Helps out the channel to notice costs. You consider being a YouTube channel member. The goal is like 30, 35 channel members. And if you've ever been, let's say made a little bit of moolah off this channel, if you ever want to throw some back, I always appreciate it. You get access to emotes, channel member videos, all that jazz. And we're just going to get right into this here. So, Draco Tail is a better deck than a lot of people think it is. The unfortunate thing about deck building sets is that there's always going to have to be one deck that gets pushed to the wayside. And Draco Tail, unironically, was that deck. While people thought Draco Tail was going to be the best deck, it dropped from second, K9's going to be better, to third, Yummy's going to be better. And now people are like, wait, Draco Tail is still good, which I told people it was going to. Now, here is something very interesting. The Ultras here, now, Lucius is $8 here. This card was about $7, so not really a big difference. But your Femina, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, are 13s, right? That's actually quite a bit for this ultra rare. Now, here is what I gotta say to this. Normally, whenever I see the base ultra rares in a deck building set and I look at the CRs and the Starlights, I say, well, if the CRs are 25% or lower, then I would get those, right? I would get the CRs, right? If the Starlights are cheap and we can go up further on, and I think the deck has a lot of staying power, and I'm not afraid of a ban list, sure, okay. But usually I advise against CRs. However, for Femina's case, guys, if I'm mispronouncing that, sorry, it's a Tistina moment. The CRs are $19. So would you rather get the Ultra for 13 or the CR for 18-19? I would get the CR for 18-19 by far. I don't know how the Ultra has caught up to the price as much. Your Lucius here is at least double, right? 8 to 17. This is still not bad for a CR at all here. And obviously people are going to want to match. But honestly, I would absolutely get, even if you're not playing Draco Tail, I think Femina CRs right now are very good here. Now your Mululus, these are $7 here, while the CRs are about 25 going up to 30 here. This is a card that I will say has more potential because unlike the other Draco Tail cards, and this is something to always watch out for these deck building sets, is what cards come in Starlight and CR and what come in just CR. For example, the Spell Rahu here, this only has a CR, it's $80, right? And this was on low listings, even on pre-sale. I said, I actually pulled one of these. And I was thinking about what to do with it. I think I know what I'm going to do with it now. But yeah, it sold at 53. 80 is kind of high. I don't know if it's going to sell at 80, but this looks like the good CR you want to pull. Like I said, Mululu doesn't have a Starlight to compete with. I get its price. But if you're just trying to play, $7 for your Ultra compared to like 25 for a CR, you could just get the Ultra. In fact, in reality, they're like $27, $28, $30 here. So your set of Mululus is Ultras are still a lot less than the CR, which makes a lot of sense. So if you want the CR thinking it's going to go to 40, 50, there is a risk and a gamble there that you can go ahead on. Remember, it does not have to compete with the Starlight like the other Draco Tail cards, including the Fusion. However, I would absolutely get CR Feminas. And Lucius is up to you if you want to match or whatever. And they are cheap, at least at 16, 17. But at least they're double the price of Ultras, unlike Femina. Now, Your Arthrius, you got your Ultras, and I told you this gotta be the worst Ultra. They're like $5. Your CRs are $13, but your Starlights are 34. I personally think this will be one of the worst Starlight rares in the set. I think they play one of this card or two max. They don't play three that I saw. And if that's kind of the case, people are going to pull multiple CRs, multiple Starlights. Oh, not a lot of people want these, right? Oh, I'm going to get rid of it. I personally think that the CR at 12, if you just want it because you want a little more extra bling in your extra deck, you can go for it. But it feels like a Starlight or Bust type card. And even then, I think you can maybe chill out on the Starlight rare. Granted, if this deck does do better, it can go up. So I'd keep an eye on it. I would definitely not get the spell. Now, the Starlight Lucius and Femina, at least these are worth a lot. You have your Starlight here at 45.50, and you have your Femina here at 43, basically 50. Actually, no, that's with shipping. That's 50.55. So 50 straight for your Starlights. Here's what I think. If we are pulling 3 to 4 per case, most people are probably pulling a Draco Tail Starlight in every case. I still think we haven't seen how much they could put this on the market. What I'm really worried about, and this is going to go for K9 and Yummy as well, is while a lot of us, especially on the Team Sakurazo channel, are smart enough to realize, hey, these cards should be a lot of money because we're going to get the meta shift and it's going to be these 3 decks. A lot of people still want that balance to drop to see if it's going to, and when it does, people are going to purchase. I think if you want CR Feminas, it's good. The Starlight rares are going to be kind of a gamble because I think they could go lower before they go higher. That's my personal opinion on Draco Tail, but a lot of people do like this deck. Now, K9 here is very interesting. So I told people not to touch Lupus because it's a one-of. If you want your CR one-of, it's like $11 here. That's why I told people if you can wait a bit don't get the Ultra at 15, get the CR at 15, right? Because I thought the CR would be 15 in the first couple days, right? With the Starlight rare probably being around like 50, I thought. Maybe less for both of them, like CR's like 13, 12. I was kind of wrong. They crashed harder than I thought, but at least I stirred people in the right direction. We see a wall here. I wouldn't really touch Lupus with a 10-foot pole. This is a kind of card where you might as well get, since it's a one-of, get the Starlight rare and be happy. I probably wouldn't bother with the CR, but it's at least $10. A case for K9. Now, I think this card at 38.39 is not bad. You have a wall of 33 though. And that does worry me because if this card doesn't start selling, it's going to go a lot lower. This card was 60s though. Like you could see August 2nd, August 4th there, pretty low. And this card is crashing further and further down. I would keep an eye out on this card because if it continues to crash, you could probably get it at 20 something. And it's the max rarity, doesn't have a CR to compete with. And it could probably hold some value throughout the time. I think case for K9 is going to be fine, but keep an eye on it. Now, Zuna, right? This is the main bread and butter, right? So, Ultras right now are $45. They were 46, with CRs being about 65 today, going up to 67, 68. I told people if you're going to pay about close to $50, it was 46 at the time, you might as well get the CR because the CRs were 62 on Saturday. So, at that point, we're looking at about less than 25%, and it's a Zuna, right? It's the main bread and butter, right? Get the CR and be happy, right? Because the CRs are going to be harder to fill out. This is definitely a card where even if it's like 30% more than the Ultra, I would definitely grab the CRs just because these will retain value a lot more than the Ultra rares over time. But then you also have the Starlight, which I actually ended up moving this for 160 when I pulled down my second case. And here's what I'm going to say. I think that the K9 stuff, especially the Starlight, they will bounce back up in the future. I don't think people realize how good this is and how you can basically play on your opponent's turn now. And that's kind of where the game's going. They're doing it with Holisu and they're doing it with K9, right? And I think that's why a lot of people want to play K9 is because you get so much interactivity on your opponent's turn. The game becomes so fun. If you're a K9 player that's playing K9 VS and you like that deck a lot, I really think you're going to have one of the more fun formats. So definitely grind it out, because the fact that you don't have to wait for your opponent to do stuff for 10 minutes, you can play with those 10 minutes as well if they say go first, is great. This card, basically, you special, effect, you add, and then you're able to do something on your opponent's turn, right? Which is really, really cool. And I really, really like that. You're able to deck thin, you're able to special, you're able to force a negate if needed. Very, very cool. Because people will ash this. They will ash this. Or they will figure some, or if they have any negate, they're just going to shotgun it. Because they're like, well, you know what? I'm going first. I don't care, whatever, right? Zuna, I think, is going to go up in the future. I would see if you could maybe get some deals on them. I'm not seeing any walls per se here. I would see if I could get these for cheaper, call it a day. But once we get that balance, I think Justice Hunter is going to get flipped up on its ass. Now, we have Yummy. Now, if you're wondering, well, why don't you have Yummy like all the other two pictures? Well, when you type in Yummy, which we might as well do for Zuna over here, it's just going to show you the link. So we're going to unfortunately have to have some struggle over here. Right now, your Yummy Ultras, in fact, I want to go, let's go Ultras here. Right now, your Yummy Ultras are, drumroll please, 11, 11, 10, 10. The market has decided that all these ultras are going to basically be worth the same thing, which is really funny to me because it's always one ultra that dips. I will say that Lollipop Yummy is the Ice Rizel of this set because I see way less of this one pulled. So I expect this one to bubble up personally a lot, but it's nothing I would personally tell you guys, hey, get these while you can, take the risk, this and that, but maybe some 1-for-1 trades just to be safe. I think your Yummy Core for basically 120 at this point is amazing. That is absolutely amazing for you. Now, these CRs, I will go over these. Now, I said I don't want to really pick these up. I've had people try to move them to me, and I wasn't giving great numbers. However, they are still, the Ultras are a third of the price. So you got 33, 35. I don't know why we didn't see Ripper, but Ripper's very good for K9. It should have showed up here, but did it show up and I'm just blind maybe? Let's see. K9. All right. Yep, Team Blind Arasu here. Yeah, anyway, CRK9, very good. This doesn't have to compete with the Starlight Rare. People do look for this. I think a Ripper CR is pretty good. Now, going back to this, you have 25 for your cookies here. So they're above that 25%, like I've said. Your CR lollies, though, are 15. So, you know, if you want to maybe get CR Yummies for $15 extra for your set, I would go for it. These definitely look very, very nice. And for $5 more, even though it's technically 50% more, it's not really breaking the back because you're going from 10 to 15. You're unlike, say, Cookie, where you're going like 11 to 25, 26, and then Cupsy, where you're going from 10, 11 to 35. Mismatching rarities and just having lolly CRs might seem a little weird, but you can always get rid of them later if it bubbles up. I think these can probably only go up. I don't know why these tanked a lot. CR Yummies, very, very good to get. I think the rest of it's a little bit high, and I would kind of watch it. The problem with it is that, again, these CRs have to compete with the Starlights, right? And the Yummy Starlights, if they have 4 Starlights, you're getting 3 per case. Chances are every single person is pulling 1, if not 2, possibly 3 Yummy Starlights per case. Right now, your Cupsies are 84, your Cookies are 70, 75, 55. With these listings on how many are online, I would just watch it fall. I would play either the Ultras with the little CR and then get these Starlight Rares later and then call it a day. I wouldn't really spend all this when everybody's kind of gunning downwards. That's kind of how I see it. Unless you get a deal. If you get a deal, you get these for cheaper, like 70 on Cupsies. Sure, you could, because you got a wall here for 36 for 74. That's going to go down. I would not really mess too much with that. Now, before I go over the rest of Justice Hunters, very quickly, leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe. Thank you, my YouTube channel members. Consider being a channel member if I've ever made you money or you like this advice. Remember, there will be another Market Watch on Tuesday, so you guys do have that because I'll go over much, much more over there. I want to go over the rest of the set on cards that I haven't gone over. So, first one here is Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones. Now, this is a Yummy card, technically. And you got 16 here, 23, 24. I went over this at 40. I said it's gunning down hard. I wouldn't get this. It'll probably drop to 30 by the next market watch. Well, we're on the next market watch. And granted, I waited an extra day. It dropped an extra $5, 25. And look, 16 listings, limited. I think this is a good card for the future. And I told people it's just going to go a lot lower. Maybe wait till then. I just look at this card in the next couple days and every few days. If this card drops to teens, like 13, 14, 15, at that point, you're kind of set. But hey, we know Konami. Starlight Rare could happen, right? Then we also have, where's my buddy? King of the Swamp here. CR King of the Swamp's at 13. Personally, if the community decides that this should be single digits, that is what the community decides. I think 12 to 13 is amazing. If this card gets a Starlight, this is OGCR, so it can only drop, what, $7 and they look really nice. It's a gamble I'd personally be willing to take. 12s are very good at this. I think these are definitely way too low. Way too low. And then we also have Paradise Smasher CR. Now, this card has dropped like a rock, $6, $7 here. Here's what I'm going to say about Paradise Smasher. This will not be on the ban list. If it's limited, what? People are going to play Cashier Unicorn to banish it out of the extra? Like, what are they going to do? They're going to play, they're going to play Winter Cherries? Because some people are looking at Winter Cherries right now, which I guess, okay, I'll include one card. But if it's in tomorrow's market watch, you guys can't complain, okay? People are looking at cherries again. Ultis are 19, 20 for your QCs. Your ultis are 15. So people are looking at cherries again here, just so you are warned. It could be, but honestly, this card's not going to be hit. They're going to give it at least one list. If you want to gamble on Paradise Smasher at $6, $7, it's not bad. It really, really isn't bad at all. Again, this card is definitely, everyone knows is going to get hit, so people don't really care too much about it, but I don't know, $7 CR gamble, you could get a copy, see where it goes. You get a playset for 21. That's really, really cheap. I guess I'm not shocked, but still, to be this cheap when we know, the smart players know it can't be banned if they're just made a CR. They're not going to make a CR and ban it like 2 weeks later, right? And limiting it doesn't matter. It just makes no sense to me personally. And then do we have anything really else here? Oh, I guess the last thing I should say is Millennium Eye should have had a CR. That would have been really awesome. And with that being said, boys, leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Now, question of the day. What decks are you playing out of Justice Hunters, and what do you like the most? Let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know what cards will go over next Mark Watch. Peace.